music.
Go for launch.
Yeah. Full court press. CJ. Yeah, what we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies, dropping J's up. Players this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Guess we the best, magic, we flash with them fans listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline, my team chasing the big range, we ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams, the only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it, go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood, locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind, in between the lines, full court pressing, finessing, read the signs. What we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies, dropping J's up.
Good morning, basketball world. This is the Around the Association podcast, and this is the Monday edition of the show, the weekend wrap-up edition. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, checking with you here on AroundTheAssociation.com, Around the Association podcast. Follow us everywhere you can find podcasts, on places like iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you can find great podcasts. Everywhere, follow AroundTheAssociation.com, as well as follow the Association on Facebook as well, too, for our latest news in the NBA as well. So, busy weekend in the NBA. Of course, we can't go over every single game over the weekend, so we go over the top storylines and get you ready for Monday's game. So let's talk about what you missed over the weekend, and let's start out with the LA Lakers. LeBron James had a memorable weekend, first and foremost. He had, led his Lakers to 2 victories over the weekend. He took care of business on Friday night, out in Miami, 113-110 on Friday night. LeBron had 28 and 12. Up and down the fairway against the Miami Heat, a very, very good Miami Heat team. They took care of that game. And then on Friday night, Sunday night, they also took care of business out in Atlanta. The game was a lot closer than it should have been. 101-96 against the Hawks. He had 32 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists in that game. Now, in between all that, LeBron also traveled up to Ohio to see his son Bronny take on his alma mater in high school. His Sierra Canyon high school team took care of St. Vincent St. Mary's by 3 points, and Bronny was the game's MVP with 15 points off the bench. So it's been a great weekend for LeBron James. The Lakers they're 24-3. They're going through the Western Conference. They still have the big winning streak on the road. There's not much Lakers have done wrong. They had double digits of victories at home and on the road. It's been a crazy start of the season. Lakers are 24-3, best, like I said, tied for the best record in the NBA. It was, like I said, it wasn't easy on Sunday night. They had moments where they had the game in control, but then the Hawks kept fighting the entire game. The Hawks hit a lot of big shots down the stretch. They had a good game from Trae Young, who had 30 points on Sunday night, along with 7 assists. Like I said, the Hawks are still fighting. They're struggling in the win column, but they made the game very fun and very interesting on Sunday. Now, other games over the weekend, teams that played well over the weekend. Let's talk about what some of the better teams that had better weekends from top to bottom. Let's talk about let's start at the very top. Like I said, we talked about the Lakers and Milwaukee Bucks. Their winning streak still intact. They took care of business on Saturday night with Giannis once again leading the charge in their victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won 18 straight. They're 24-3. Like I said, them and the Lakers are tied for the 2 best teams in the Western in the NBA. Other teams that took care of business over the weekend. Well, you know what? The Philadelphia 76ers are still undefeated at home. They won their home matchup over the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday night. So they're the league's only undefeated team. Ben Simmons had 24 points, 11 assists in that game. But then they end up losing pretty badly to the Brooklyn Nets on Sunday. Now, mind you, in the Sunday game, they did not have Joel Embiid. The Nets dominated the interior. They did all the right things they had to do on Sunday. But one thing the Sixers do have is the only undefeated team in the NBA at home. Other teams that had successful weekends around the league, you're looking at the Indiana Pacers, they went 2-0 this weekend. They beat the Charlotte Hornets 105-87 on Sunday, and then they beat the Atlanta Hawks 110-100 on Friday, in their 2-game trek through the Eastern Conference and Southeast Division. Malcolm Brogdon played key roles in both games. He had 19 points and 12 rebounds on Friday, and then on Sunday, Brogdon, he did his thing on Sunday by knocking down what was it? The number for him on Sunday was 11 points and 7 assists. Played basically ball control basketball because Aaron Holiday had 23 points off the bench. Pacers are now 18-9 on the season so far. Other teams that had good weekends. The New York Knicks weekend wasn't very good. They ended the road trip 111-105 last night, losing in Denver. Denver just do what Denver does best. And let's go over the best game of each day of the weekend. Let's talk about Friday night in the league. Friday night was James Harden's 54 points to lead the Rockets over the Magic 130-107. Harden hit 10 more three-pointers in the game. He had 39 on Sunday. Did not hit 50 points again. He had 39 points in the Rockets game on Saturday, which led him short of being the first player to have 3 50-point games consecutively in a very, very long time. They lost to the Pistons that game as well too. But Harden's 54 points was the performance of the night on that night, as well as out in Minnesota. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combined for 88 points in the Clippers' victory. Now, on Saturday night, like I said, Nikola Jokic had a triple-double, 28, 14, and 12, as Denver won their game on Saturday, as well as they won on Sunday. He had a triple-double in that game. Harden had 39 on Sunday. We talked about the Bucks victory. The Dallas Mavericks lost Luka Doncic due to an ankle injury, could be out for potentially 2 weeks. In their loss to Miami with Bam Adebayo having another triple-double, his second one of the week. Grizzlies outshot the Wizards. The Bulls beat a tired Clippers team. Raptors beat the Nets, and the Spurs won in overtime on Saturday. Sunday, like I said, we talked about the Magic. They took care of business with Nikola Vucevic's first game back. He had 20 points in his first game back. Magic had every player in double figures with the exception of one who played, and that was Aaron Gordon. They dropped 130 on the Pelicans. We already talked about the Pacers and Lakers. Victories on Sunday. Nets beat the Sixers, like I said, without Joel Embiid by 20. We talked about the Nuggets beat the Knicks, and the Golden State Warriors took care of the Kings took care of the Warriors by 21 after losing to the Knicks on Friday in an inexcusable fashion. So that's your weekend in a nutshell. Player of the weekend, of course, is LeBron James. 2 huge games and 2 huge victories for the Lakers over the weekend. James Harden got honorable mention because Harden was just still scoring points. James, like I said, averaged over 30 points and over 10 rebounds over the weekend. He also had 7 assists on Sunday night. It's just been a LeBron James loved weekend. So NBA schedule for Monday is pretty light. Everything is on NBA League Pass, and League Pass is still free this week. So if you have a chance to catch out some NBA games, check them out on League Pass. Game of the night will be out in, let's scan around the league. Well, actually, the game kind of lost a little bit of luster record-wise, but this is the game that I'll be probably focusing most of my attention on, even though the 2 teams with the records are going to be kind of interesting. We'll go out to Detroit to watch for the Washington Wizards and Detroit Pistons game. That game will be on 7 o'clock on League Pass. Wizards are scoring a lot of points. Bradley Beal and Davis Bertans have been a dynamic duo when it comes to scoring the basketball. Wizards are finding all different types of ways to score. Pistons got to get it together. Blake Griffin had a rough week last week, still not 100%. And Derrick Rose had a game winner last week. And the Pistons have been up and down. This should be an up and down affair because the Wizards can score on almost anybody. Raptors and Cavaliers will tangle out in Toronto at 7:30. This game, the Raptors should be able to win, even though the Cavaliers are dealing with Cavalier trade rumors. Out in Houston, a rematch of a game that was played last week. Rockets Spurs, about 2 Texas teams. Can the Spurs, with all their guards, find some kind of way to guard James Harden? Have fun with that. Good news for Rockets fans is Westbrook is back in the lineup. He missed Saturday's game due to load management coming off that shoulder injury. Out in Memphis, the Heat take on the Grizzlies. Great young guard matchup with Ja Morant and Kendrick Nunn, 2 guys fighting for Rookie of the Year. Brandon Clark has had a great early start for the Grizzlies, but the Heat are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference as well as the NBA at 19-7. I know the Bucks and Mavericks have had is highlight the best matchup and the only matchup with 2 teams above 500. But with Luka Doncic being out due to injury, the game has lost a little bit of luster. The Bucks should be able to roll through the Mavericks in this one. Like I said, if there's no Luka, there's no way the Bucks lose this one. And the Bucks are going for a 19th straight win. Bulls and Thunder out in OKC. Bulls have still, like I said, once again, are still inconsistent. Hey, they won a game over the weekend, but the problem is they can't seem to string wins together. The Thunder are a team that's still clinging to that 8th spot in the Western Conference. And Chris Paul and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have had great starts for the Thunder this season. Late game on Monday night, Blazers Suns will be out in Phoenix, an up and down affair. Blazers are just like the Bulls, can't find consistency, even though Damian Lillard is putting up big numbers. And once again, between inconsistency and guys getting hurt, this Blazer team is nowhere near where it should be. But the good news is, for the Suns' case, is DeAndre Ayton will be back this week, and they know the Suns are still competing without DeAndre Ayton. You get a guy who has also potential coming back at center to missing 25 games. It's going to be a good one. Suns, like I said, they are coming off an overtime loss out in Mexico City on Saturday. And same game where Devin Booker is on the injury report. And it's just not been a good start for the Suns. But like I said, they have something to look forward to by the end of the week to get back your man, DeAndre Ayton. Once again, follow me on Twitter at Danny, D-A-N-N-Y, Thompson, number 3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as around the association. Everywhere you're going to find podcasts across the country, iHeart, iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, everywhere else. So we'll catch you guys on tomorrow. Like I said, we'll have a little bit more in depth. Like I said, it was a crazy week in the NBA. Not too many big storylines, like I said, around the league. Like, some teams won a couple games this week, but for the most part, it's been pretty quiet. The major part of the weekend was the fact of the trade deadline did open up for a lot of players. About 100 something players were eligible to be traded